Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope and Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson, and actually have a prediction edition today. A prediction edition? Prediction segment. Anyway, this is a fight I did Cinchron against Angulo yesterday. That's the undercard for this fight. It's on May 30th. I don't have a location. My guess would be California or Florida. It's Juan Urango, a champion from 140 versus Berto, who's a WBC champion at 147. Urango's from Colombia, I believe, and Berto's from here, although his parents are Haitian. Let's get right into it, okay? Let's talk about Berto, okay? The beauty thing about Berto is... Berto? What did I just say? Berta? Anyway, the good thing I really like about Berto is he's young, and I think he's been moved along very nice and slow, okay? A lot of people see his hand speed and some of his power that he has and some of these crazy uppercuts and just how hard he hits as far as like every time he punches. A lot of times people would see that and just push him along because of the skill set. I'm glad he's moved along. I think the perfect example is his last fight against Collazo. Now, I had Berto winning by 1 round. The buddy I was with had him winning or tied. He had it a draw. I can also see by 1 round Collazo. The beauty of that fight was you could see what was great about him, what was average, and what was just bad. Let's start with the bad. He's flat-footed. He doesn't move around enough. His hands aren't up enough when he's close. He stands in the pocket, but doesn't do anything. His head's a little down. He doesn't hold, and I'm not saying I like guys that hold, but if you're going to be in the pocket, you might as well hold or get out of there, one or the other. Don't just stand in the middle of the pocket and not do anything. He's got really bad inside game. Now, it's kind of crazy because he can land a great, let's talk about some positives. He can land a great straight jab, very hard jab. He lands a nice uppercut, and he sits on his punches, and really gives a lot to it. And he also started, as you could see, started working the body against Collazo. In fact, when Collazo was doing the Roy Jones, and he had his hands down, and he gave a couple rounds away, I don't know if it was the 8th or 9th or 7th or 8th, he actually said after the fight that he was hurt from a body shot, and that's the only reason why he was doing that. Me and this buddy are like, Collazo, what are you doing? And I'm sure his fan base was like, what are you doing? Because every once in a while he'll put his hands down and showboat a little bit. But he was really hurt. That was the reason why he did that. And that's where I think that in the 12th round, how Berto came out, is why I think he won the fight. By just barely. But I could see a draw or Collazo by a round. So let's talk about average. He does average things. It seems like he's a power puncher, but it seems like to me he's an average puncher. The reason why I say that is because of the inside game. He lands a great uppercut, but he needs to sit down and boom, and I think he needs to learn how to throw a punch without putting every last little bit into it. And change it up a little bit, kind of like a pitcher, You can land a nice, good jab, and then maybe flick one, and then bring the right hand, Another thing is, like I said, his head's down when he's inside. Sometimes he puts so much into it that he ends up having his hands down and really giving everything to a punch that he's kind of wide open for that. So, what I thought, so he struggled in that fight, but he also did good in that fight. And you could see him box a little bit, using that straight jab, keeping him off him. Really just hitting him anytime he really wanted to. Considering Collazo's such a good boxer, it was a good experience for him to go against a guy that has some pop but not a lot of power. He obviously has pop. He knocked Berto back, and that could have been a knockdown because he did grab the rope. Which if that could have been the difference in the fight right there if that was called. So Collazo has some pop. He just doesn't have a lot of power, and I thought Berto showed a lot of good things and a lot of bad things, but I think he fixed it slowly in the fight. Besides the inside game, he didn't fix any of that, and he's really bad at that, and that's pretty surprising. But like I said, he moved around a little bit instead of being so flat-footed like he did. And that 12th round, man, it really showed that he needed that round. He went out there and got it. And supposedly he was very sick and had the flu. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe that's why he was slobbering so much. Anyone notice that? I know it's kind of random thing to say, but he was just slobbering a lot. Maybe that's why he was sick. Let's talk about Urango. Now, a lot of people on the net, and when they comment, when I say Rocky Marciano, they think, oh, Urango's no Marciano. Well, no, I'm just saying, like I said this before in a video, Urango has that bend-over style, and he just throws those, and he just keeps coming, and that's why I think he reminds me of Rocky Marciano. Let's see what Urango does good. Okay, Urango's a good inside fighter. He's got the right idea. He's got a nice tight guard, and he's moving like this and just ducking. I saw him duck, especially against Indu, I think his last name, when he won the belt on ESPN, Friday Night Fights. He did that really well from the outside. A lot of times he has the same thing, though. He puts so much into his punch, sometimes his hands are down, and it allows him to get hit pretty easily. He definitely needs to improve his defense. Like I said, sometimes he'll throw a real nice hook and pretty tight. Other times it'll just be too wide, or he'll be jumping with it like Ricky Hatton, or both wide and jumping with it, which will just get you in trouble, especially with the nice straight jab that Berto has. So I believe that Urango's going to get a good test, and he's very young, and he's fought a lot of nice talent, and he only lost to Hatton. I believe he only has one loss. He got out-brawled by a brawler. So I think this is going to give him a chance to Urango, chance to go against Berto, a guy that can box, a guy that can move a little bit, and well, he better move a little bit because he's not going to want to stand in there with Urango. He will punish him on the inside if he just stands there, or sits on a rope if Berto ever did that. So I think it's a great thing for Urango. He's going to get a chance to get his name up. If he wins at 147 and beats Berto, he can do either one, at that point. So yeah, I think it's a good fight. Also, from the Berto perspective, it's like a little mini, and I call it Urango's, he's a big guy, but it's like a mini Shane Mosley, Clottey, and Cotto. Especially Cotto and Mosley, really. I think that he's going to fight those fighters at some point, so this is going to be a nice model because he comes forward, and those guys are going to come forward against Berto, and he's a power puncher, and he's a brawler. He's obviously not as fast, nowhere near as fast as Cotto and as Mosley, but I think it's a nice fight. Collazo, Urango, he starts to get better names underneath his belt instead of getting thrown in there, with the Tigers and the Lions and the Bears. All right, either way, I'm going Berto in a decision. I will say this, though. Berto will be in a lot of trouble and maybe knocked out if he sits on the inside, unless all of a sudden he improved a lot of his inside game. If he sits around the inside with Urango and did what he did against Collazo, he's going to get knocked out. But I'm going to go with Berto in a decision. Watch for the box score. This takes place May 30th. Like I said, I don't know where. My guess is Florida or California. This has been the Rope-A-Dope Report prediction segment. I'm Chris Carlson, your host. Peace.